Welcome back to Slang word Surmise. I figured I'd do something a little different for this video, and I decided to research some slang words, 3 slang words from every decade. So all the way from the 1920s to the 90s or the 2000s. So let's get started. So for the first one for the 1920s, I did to know your onions. Yes, to know your onions. And it's basically to be knowledgeable about what you're talking about, like to know what you're talking about, basically, like know your onions, know what you're talking about before you say it. The second one is a blue nose. A blue nose is basically somebody who, like, you're a killjoy, like you just ruin the mood and you're not fun to be around. The last one for the 1920s is the berries, and it's basically a synonym to like the bee's knees or the cat's meow, but 1920s version. So moving on to the 1930s, the first one is blow your wig. Sounds weird, but it's basically to be excited about something. I don't know why it's called to blow your wig. Second one is pretty obvious. It's giggle juice, and I guessed alcohol for that one, but it's pretty much just whiskey, but probably could just be alcohol in general. So the last one for the 1930s is dog soup, and it's basically, it's a glass of water, but it's something people would ask for in the 1930s. Like when you go to a restaurant and you like can't afford to get like a pop or something, you would ask for dog soup because you can't afford anything other than water. Moving on to the 1940s, first one is eager beaver, and it's like someone who's excited to help or enthusiastic, like always ready to go, and they're like, yeah, I can help, like someone like that. To cut a rug is to dance. And the last one is a fathead, and it's basically someone who is stupid, like stupid. It's a derogatory term for a foolish or a stupid person. First one for the 1950s is kind of obvious. It's ankle biter, and it's basically a small child. Like they're closer to your ankles. They're an ankle biter. To dig, it's like dig it, like be into something. And the last one for the 1950s is to agitate the gravel, which is basically, it is to leave in a hurry. So the first one for the 1960s is fuzz, and it's a derogatory term against the police because I was looking it up, and it's like they're soft, so they call them fuzz. Like they're softies. The give me some skin is a cooler way to say handshake in the 60s. And for something to be far out is to be mind-blowing or like can't believe it. The first one for the 1970s is first one for the 1970s is skinny. And it took a lot of digging to find like the definition for it, but it's what you ask when you want the whole truth. Like you would ask someone like, give me the skinny, give me the whole truth. This one's also pretty obvious, but to be square is to be boring. Like you're uninteresting to be around, you're just boring. And the last one for the 1970s is do me a solid, and that's basically asking for a favor. First one for the 1980s is gag me with a spoon. This one's kind of weird, but it's kind of obvious, I guess. It's like to be disgusted. Like, yeah, to be disgusted. So the next one is grody. That just means it's gross. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's pretty obvious. To tell someone to eat my shorts is it's a crude remark to tell someone to go away. Don't know how they came up with that one. And lastly, I stopped at the 90s just because I feel like the 2000 slang is very similar to what people use today. So, first one for the 1990s is talk to the hand, and it's to get someone to go away. Like, I don't want to talk to you, go away. The 411, I remember I think they used it in Mean Girls, but it's basically like the 90s way to say, like, what's the tea or what's going on. And the last one is buggin', and it's basically acting crazy. So I hope you gained a little bit of knowledge or maybe learned something cool from this. I did a lot of digging for these, so I hope it was pretty cool. And yeah, thanks for watching episode 3 of Slang Surmise. See you next time.